Today, we're going to do a few quick hitters in the sports world just to get you up to speed on a couple of things. So we're going to start in the NFL, and of course we got Thursday Night Football. Just a few things to note. So Baker Mayfield the other day was waived by the Carolina Panthers. In my opinion, in order to be waived by the Carolina Panthers, you have to be doing something terribly wrong. As in, they don't have much talent to begin with, especially at the quarterback position. When you have Sam Darnold, who's trying to, rescue his career, same as Baker Mayfield. And also you have, XFL former player, P.J. Walker, that got some starts as well. It's just been a number of different situations at Carolina. But yeah, in order for you to get waived, that's not a good look. But in anything, I guess in regards to that situation, the Los Angeles Rams end up claiming Baker's off of clearing Baker Mayfield off of waivers. Excuse me. So now he is possibly starting this Sunday. Matthew Stafford. They pretty much shut him down. Their backup quarterback, second string Walford, hasn't really been the greatest. Their third string Bryce Perkins, definitely not the greatest. So, at this point, taking a chance on Baker Mayfield, the Rams don't have anything to lose here. They're not making the playoffs. Their first round draft pick goes to the Lions from that trade. So, I guess they're trying to see if they can get anything out of Baker Mayfield, just like, the Panthers did. He is a former number one overall pick, so the leash is a little bit longer with him than most people in this current situation. So we'll see what happens there. Oh, here's a good one here. So the Tennessee Titans in the off season, they elected not to pay A.J. Brown, star wide receiver, and instead on draft night they traded him to the Philadelphia Eagles. As a result, the Eagles have the best record in the NFL and very much unlocked that offense and has turned Jalen Hurts into an MVP candidate. On the flip side, the Titans are okay, but they are not, in my opinion, not the same threat that they used to be because they don't have A.J. Brown. Yeah, they drafted Treylon Burks in the first round, who is an A.J. Brown prototype and is supposed to replace A.J. Brown, and I get that. But as of right now, he's not A.J. Brown. He's not. He's still a rookie. He's still trying to find his way. It's not like it's Jamar Chase coming in here last year and just disrupted everything. Or Justin Jefferson a couple years ago. No, Tennessee is not the same team. And so, last week, the Eagles and Titans just happened to play. And, of course, A.J. Brown took that trade personally. If that was me, I would too. You chose not to pay me. You said, it's better that we trade you instead of you giving me the bag. And I gave you 3 years of productivity and turned this franchise around quickly. So A.J. Brown comes in. Puts up big numbers. I believe he scored 2 touchdowns in that game. Just yapping at the mouth, letting them know what you miss. And as a result, the GM got fired. The Titans GM got fired right after that game. And I'm pretty sure that was the reason why. The fact that they traded A.J. Brown on draft day and he came back against his former team after catching 7 passes for 119 yards and 2 touchdowns. Basically just let him know that you made the wrong decision here and we can't stand behind you anymore. So therefore, the GM got fired. Hey, sometimes you make bad decisions, but sheesh. That one right there is a little head scratching. But, he paid the ultimate price with his job. Boy, oh boy. So last time I mentioned Jimmy Garoppolo, starting quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers, broke his foot out for the season. Now they're saying that there is a long shot of him returning this season simply because his foot does not require surgery. So there is a very slim chance that he could come back and play if they make a deep playoff run. But I would not expect him back. But just the fact that there's a chance, that says a lot. It does. So, we'll continue to monitor that situation there. Von Miller, his season is done. He got hurt a couple of weeks ago. And, initially they thought it wasn't an ACL tear. Thought it was some other, another sort of injury here. But ultimately it did come out to be an ACL injury, and he's done for the year. So that is definitely a big blow to the Buffalo Bills, in my opinion. Because when Von Miller got there, his pass rush ability created havoc and made the Bills, especially at the beginning of the year, the best team in the league, in my opinion, at the time. So without that pass rush, it does make it a little bit more difficult. Now, Bills are still talented enough to get the job done. It's just a matter of if they can do it. Can you actually execute and get it done? Can Josh Allen stop turning over the ball in the red zone? Can you actually run the ball effectively? Can you get enough stops when it matters? That's what it comes down to. Can you execute? We'll see. We will see. Because I'm curious. Because I'm still a believer of the Bills. I believe that they can make a legitimate run here. It does start with Josh Allen, but they need everyone else to follow suit and do their job. All right, so Thursday Night Football, tonight's game. Before the season started, if you looked at this game on the calendar, it looked like it could have been a pretty good game. But, yeah, it's definitely not that. So we have the Las Vegas Raiders traveling to SoFi Stadium to play the Los Angeles Rams. Now, just mentioned, the Rams picked up Baker Mayfield off waivers. So, I think there's a chance that he may play today. We'll see. If not, you're just going to, get one of those great value type quarterbacks, and they're going to go out there and try to play some football. As you know, Cooper Kupp is on IR, so is Matthew Stafford, Allen Robinson on IR. Aaron Donald's not playing. Team just banged up. I don't expect the Rams to do much of anything tonight. I don't care who's at quarterback. It's a wrap. As far as the Raiders, they have been on a little hot streak here, and I expect it to continue. It all starts with Josh Jacobs, who is the league's leading rusher right now with over 1,300 yards. He also got 10 rushing touchdowns on the year. Ever since Derek Carr was crying at a press conference a few weeks ago, the Raiders haven't lost a game. He has mainly been finding Devontae Adams, number 17, the ball a lot more. Devontae almost got 1,200 yards on the year, receiving yards, and 12 touchdowns. Just the spread is 6.5 favorite to the Raiders. I can see that happening. Raiders average about 24 points a game. Rams only average about 17 points a game. Raiders average 254 in the air and 125 on the ground. Rams average 221 in the air and only 87 on the ground. See, when the Rams was actually, a competitive team, winning Super Bowls and making deep playoff runs, their ability to run the ball was the key to their offense. As dynamic as the offense has been for the Rams, the running game has always been a significant factor. The running game sets up everything. They don't have a running game anymore. Their offense is broken. They're going to have to figure that out here. So So yeah, Rams lost the last 5 games. Raiders are 3-2 in the last 5, including winning 3 straight here. Yeah, I expect the Raiders to take care of business tonight, so they can move on and be 6-7, and the Rams probably end up being 3-10. And like I mentioned, the Rams don't even have their first round pick, so they're just losing to be losing at this point. They don't get any significant value here whatsoever. So what can you do? All right, so really quick, just moving on to the NBA. It's a little bit over a quarter away of the season. Teams playing about 25 games or so. So there's a new number 1 team in the Western Conference. I mean, if I told you that this team here would be number 1 in the West 24, 25 games into the season, I would say a vast majority of you wouldn't believe it. But this is one of the teams that a few of us felt could have been a dark horse here. And this team is the New Orleans Pelicans. 16-8 on the year. The clear-cut number 1 team in the Western Conference right now. Now, I would tell you how competitive the Western Conference is. The 10th place team in the Western Conference is only 4 games back from the number 1 place team. So it is highly competitive. So, yeah, New Orleans probably may not be sitting here for long, but just the fact that at the beginning of last year, around this time last year, this team was looking lottery bound. It like Zion wasn't playing. It was just Brandon Ingram. They was trying to, figure it out, but just pieces didn't fit right. And then at the trade deadline, they traded for CJ McCollum, who took a lot of pressure off of Brandon Ingram. And they went from a lottery team to sneaking into the playoffs. And then when they got into the playoffs, they gave the Phoenix Suns some fits in the first round. If it wasn't for Chris Paul playing basically a perfect game from the field, if that didn't happen in Game 6 of that first round series against the Pelicans, it was belief the way the momentum of that series was going. Pelicans would probably have beat the Suns in the first round in 7 games. But it took that. So then some of us felt like, okay, once Zion come back, he is definitely the missing piece to this equation. Because they got everything else except for that dynamic factor. And Lord and behold, that's exactly what it was. So Brandon Ingram is a 3-level scorer that can get his shot anytime he wants to. The same can be said about CJ McCollum. You got a lot of role players that play high-level defense all over the place. Very, very tenacious on defense. Very. And then the only thing he was missing was a guy that can get a bucket anytime he wants to, down low, cause havoc, just destruction, unguardable force of nature, which turns out to be Zion Williamson. So, yeah. Now, New Orleans probably won't finish number 1 in the West, but that team is scary. They're dangerously good. If they stay healthy, come April and May, we might be talking about this team in June based on matchups. Because as we know, the playoffs are about matchups. Like, you can have the greatest record in the world, but if you're going against a team that has had your number and you don't match up well against them, then truth be told, you might be in trouble. You definitely might be in trouble. So yeah, shout out to the New Orleans Pelicans for, I guess, exceeding many people's expectations here. Many. Because I would say most did not see that coming. But it's definitely been a great thing. And they've won 5 straight. Just to see something different. Just to see something different at the top. I know it's early. I understand all that, but it's like a breath of fresh air. So yeah, I really hope they do pretty wonderful things this year. All right, and then really quick in other news, as you know, Colorado's new head coach, Deion Sanders. We talked about it Tuesday, but he ended up hiring Alabama's defensive coach to join his staff as Colorado's defensive coordinator. Prime time is making moves. Colorado is loving it. I feel like definitely the players in the transfer portal are loving it. I'm just curious to see what this Colorado team is going to look like when the season starts next year. I am definitely very curious. I just want to see the record numbers in a positive way just rush into Colorado. The support that this man is going to get is going to be astronomical. He's going to do great things. I cannot wait for it. So, yeah. All right, so continue to rock with your boy right here on the No Offense Radio and the No Offense Network. Follow me on social media at JGoodWithSports, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Check me out this Saturday on the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast. Last Saturday we had a guest that is a professional women's basketball player who is just knocking on the door to get into the WNBA. Alexis Barros, her uncle Dana Barros used to play in the NBA. So we had her on. She was a wonderful guest. So I guess moving forward, we're definitely going to have more women basketball players because we've been in contact with a WNBA agent. So that's been a pleasure right there. So yeah, continue to rock with us Saturday on that Early Morning Sports Talks podcast. One Rose, Brandon, and Ian live every Saturday morning, 7 a.m. Central Time on Facebook. And then Sunday, Destination Fantasy Podcast. This is week 14 coming up. This is the last week of the regular season in many people's fantasy football leagues. So we're trying to, punch people's tickets to get into the playoffs, first round buys. It's a very exciting times. This is the pressure cooker. This is, game time. And pressure does two things. Pressure can bust pipes or it can make diamonds. Which one are you? Are you going to be a busted pipe or are you going to be a diamond? I need to know. But nevertheless, you all have a good one as we inch closer to Christmas here. Be safe. Stay warm. But until next time, peace.